Okay. In the last class, we have seen one theorem with regard to Hamiltonian cycle, Hamiltonian graphs. It says that in any complete graph Kn, where n is an odd number, then there are n minus 1 by 2 edge disjoint Hamiltonian cycles. I think I told what is edge disjoint Hamiltonian cycle is. I think it is C1 and C2. C1 is a cycle in K5. C2 is the second cycle, which is disjoint from the first cycle. It may have some vertices in common, of course, all vertices in common, but no edges in common, right? That is called as edge disjoint Hamiltonian cycles. The question is, how many edge disjoint Hamiltonian cycles are there in a complete graph K5? The result says there are n minus 1 by 2 edge disjoint Hamiltonian cycles. Okay. Now, now there is a problem with regard to this theorem that says that is called as seating problem, right? I think that is my first problem today, as my title says. So let us see what is a seating problem is, right? Seating problem. So today is 6th of March, right? Okay. So the seating problem says that, or it is again a puzzle. This goes like this: 9 members of a new club. I think better I can write this, right? 9 members of a new club meet each day. Each day for lunch at a round table. For lunch at a round table. They decide to sit in such a way that they decide to sit in such a way that every member has different neighbors. Every member has different neighbors. Okay. On each day, on each lunch, or on each day. How many days can arrangement last? How many days can arrangement last? That is a question. and give the distinct seating arrangement. Give the distinct seating arrangements. So that is a question. So what? Please read the question again. So there are 9 members in the group or in the club. So what they decide is they meet each day for a lunch at a round table, and they decide to sit in such a way that every member has a different neighbor on each day. How many days can arrangement last? That means when any two of them have same neighbor, then that day there will be no lunch and they will stop it, right? So for how many days it will continue, right? That is a question if there are 9 members. So this is the question of our theorem. So now if there are 9 members, all the 9 members should sit. And since it is a round table, what we have to find is a cycle with the 9 members or 9 vertices. And each cycle must be an edge disjoint cycle. That means the neighbors are different, means that their edges should be different. So if edge is same, then their their neighbors are same, right? So if there is an edge here, so these two are the neighbors, right? Now next time I have to draw some other neighbor. I have to for this fellow I have to find some other neighbor, not the same neighbor. So this edge and this edge should be distinct, right? That means so solution is we have to find number of edge disjoint cycles. Edge disjoint cycles. Edge disjoint, that is Hamiltonian cycles. Okay, Hamiltonian cycles in K9. Why K9? Because there are 9 members. That is in complete graph. I think from the theorem we have the answer, right? Answer is direct, right? So from the theorem, one second, I have some problem here. Not writing. 1 second, please. My whiteboard is not working. Yes, I am back here. There is some problem. Are you hearing me? Hello? Shall we begin?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I was talking about the solution. The solution is nothing but we have to find the edge disjoint Hamiltonian cycle in complete graph 9, and from the theorem, from the above theorem, how many are there? From the above theorem, there are, because n is an odd number in this case, n minus 1 by 2, that is 9 minus 1 by 2, that is 8 by 2, that is 4. Edge disjoint Hamiltonian cycle. Edge disjoint Hamiltonian cycles. Hamiltonian cycles. Okay. So that the first part is answered. What is that? How many days can the arrangement last? Therefore, the arrangement will last for 4 days, right? The arrangement will last for 4 days, exactly 4 days. On 5th day, they cannot sit, therefore, there is no lunch, right? That was the condition. And this is a puzzle, and that puzzle has been solved using finding edge disjoint Hamiltonian cycle and taking graph theory as a tool. This problem has been solved. Now the question is, give the distinct seating arrangement. What are that arrangement? It is not enough for how many days it will go, but you should also say them how they should be seated. Otherwise, it may stop in the second day itself, because if they don't know, then some neighbors may change their position, and it may stop for a few days, less than 4 days, right? So to find the edge disjoint cycles, to find the distinct, or how many? There are 4, right? 4 distinct edge disjoint cycles. We proceed as follows. Okay, as follows. Now, this is the procedure, and I will show it in the figure only. What we do is we take n, that is up to 9. We write the numbers in a circular order in this way. That is, I will take first, that is 1 here, right, and 2 here, and the last number on the straight line, right, that is 9, right? So I have to arrange 1, 2 up to 9. Okay. Now I have to fix up the remaining elements, and I will put all the of course I will put 3 here. That is all odd numbers above this. Actually, this is in a straight line now. 1, 2, 9 is in the straight line. Now I'll keep 3 here. I'll keep 3 here, right? And of course, it should be in the circular order. It should be circular order. When you finish it up, it should be in the circular order. And I'll keep 4 below in the circle. You have to imagine a circle here with the 9 vertices. So I'll keep 4 here. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4 below, and 5 again above. 5 upper hemisphere, we call hemisphere of the, that is, odd numbers are upper hemispheres, and 6 will be here below, okay, on the circle, right? 7 is here, right? 8 is here. So in this way, I have arranged the how 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? This is how I have arranged the numbers. Now I will join them. That is as per the order. That is 1 to 2, then 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, and 9 to 1. Now 1 to 9 look like a straight line, but actually this is not. Actually, this is nothing but a cycle. Okay, but I have drawn it in this order: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is a cycle. The cycle, and but I have kept it in this order because this is the easiest way of getting all the cycles. Right now, to get the second cycle, so I will write the cycle. The first cycle is easiest, right? Usual order, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, 1. So this is the first arrangement. This is the first arrangement. Okay, I give it as Roman 1. Now let me write the second arrangement. The marking methodology is same as in the first case, right? So that is what 3 elements here. That is 1, 2, 9. Next is all odd numbers above. That is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can name them 3, 5, 7. This is 4, 6, 8, and this is 9. Okay. So the order is same. Order is same. But now I will join in a different order. My order is now, this is the first figure is rotated. That is rotated, something like you can say like that. That is this 1 to 9, 1 to 9 straight line now is rotated, and you have to join 1 to 3, and this end is 1 to 8. You have to join, right? So that is like this: 1, 3, and 1, 8. This is a straight. So that straight line is rotated now. Now the same figure. See what you have done after 1, 2. Immediate next zigzag. Next zigzag, right? So here also immediate next is 3, 5. Next zigzag. Zigzag means you have to come down. That is 2. Next 7. Next 4. Next 9. Next 6. 6. And 6 and 8 are to be joined like this. So this is another second cycle. So this is the second cycle or second arrangement. And how it goes? 1, 3, 5. Now you can read out 3, 5. Then it is 2. Then it is 7. Then it is 4. Then it is 9. Then it is 6. Then it is 8. Then it is 8 to 1. Yeah. So this is the cycle: 1, 3, 5, 2, 7, 4, 9, 6, 8, 1. That is the second arrangement. So in the first day they will sit like, if they are numbered 1, 2, 3, and 9. Now next day 1 and 3 will sit together, 3 and 5 will sit together, like that. Because if they sit together, there is an edge. 3, 5 is an edge, right? And you can see that these two cycles are edge disjoint. There is no edges in common. How it is obtained? By just by rotation of the first arrangement to the second arrangement, right? So that is the second arrangement. Now I will go for writing the third arrangement. So I think now you got the trick how to get the third arrangement. Now what I do is, again, arrangement is same, 1, 2, 3, etc. Right? So this is 2, this is 1, this is 9. Arrangement is always same. So it is 3, 5, 7. 3, 5, odd numbers above should be in circular order. 4, 6, 8. Now the second arrangement has to be tilted or rotated, right? So what you have to see in the second arrangement, you have joined 1 and 3. Now you have to join 1 and 5. 1 and 5. Okay. 5 and 6. 5 and 6. Yeah. So 1, 5, 6 are joined. Next, after 5, you have to join immediate next, right? Then zigzag. That is 3. Next is 9. Next is 2. Next is you have to join 2 and 8 and this figure, right? And you can see that this is the rotation of the second figure to some degree, right? So this is the third arrangement, and the order in this case is 1, 5, 7, and 3. Next is 9. Next is 2, 8. Next is 4. Next is 6. Next is 1. Yeah. You can see that the third one is distinct from the first and second, and there are no edges in common. So this is the methodology to get all such arrangements, and there is no confusion. Now I have to write one more. So for one more also, I will do the same. So it is 2, 1, 9, 3, 5, 7, 4, 6, 8. Now what you have to do? You have to join 1 and 6, 1 and 7, and 1 and 4. Right? Next, immediate next, 7 to 9. Next, zigzag. Right? Please follow me how to draw this. You should be able to do it this independently. Otherwise, you cannot get all the arrangement properly. Right? So zigzag. Right? I think only those who have attended can understand. Otherwise, they can't understand how this arrangements was obtained. Right? So, and this is 1, 7, 9, 5, 8, and 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 1. Yeah. Now you can see that if you put all these 4 figures together, what you're getting is the complete graph, K9. So these are the edges of K9 distributed in 4 different order or different Hamiltonian cycle. Each one is a Hamiltonian cycle, and they are edge disjoint Hamiltonian cycle. That gives a solution for our problem. So the Hamiltonian cycle theorem helps to solve the puzzle. Of course, I have not proved the theorem, but I have made use of the theorem to solve the seating arrangement problem. and this can be asked for any number. It need not be K9. It can be 11 members or 7 members. Any odd number I can give 15 members. Then what is the arrangement if I ask for? Then if it is 15, there is 14 minus 1 divided by 2. There will be 7 arrangements, and you should be able to write all the 7 Hamiltonian cycles, right? If this methodology is not given, I think writing all the edge disjoint Hamiltonian cycles, 7 Hamiltonian cycles, is it would have been a difficult job, right? Of course, for K5 you can write easily, just by trial and error you can find that, right? But K7, K9, it would have been difficult, and when n is large, it will be much more difficult. But this methodology will give you an easy instrument or easy tool to solve the problem, right? So with that, we have solved another puzzle, seating arrangement problem. I think we have solved one puzzle earlier, and that was nothing but Königsberg problem, right? And we said that it was not possible, and here it is possible, and we have given the method also, right? So that is in graph theory we have found a solution for the puzzle, right? Now let me go for further definitions, right? So further definitions. So if you want to discuss further, we need some more definitions. I think I can say what is a connected graph is, first of all, right? A connected graph definition. I think it is easy, right? A graph G is said to be connected. A graph G is said to be connected if there exists at least one path between any two vertices of G. One path, right? Any two vertices of G. Any two vertices of G. So this is a definition of a connected graph. So I will draw a graph. You have to say that whether it is connected graph or disconnected graph. Otherwise, it is called as disconnected graph, right? So otherwise, G is called disconnected graph. Disconnected graph. Disconnected graph, right? So that is what is a connected graph is. Now I will draw a figure or a graph. Okay. I'll draw this. Whether this graph is connected or disconnected. I want answer from your end. Please tell me. Please look into the graph and please look into the definition of the connected graph and see that whether it is connected graph or disconnected graph. Can I get any answer from your end?
Disconnected, sir.
Disconnected.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, disconnected is the correct answer. Why it is disconnected?
Both triangles are disconnected. Like we can't go from those 3
Yeah.
points to other 3
Now,
points.
if you look into this vertex, right? Say for example, I will call this as V1, and if I look into V2, between V1 and V2, you cannot find any path, because this is actually one triangle is kept above the another triangle, right? And these intersecting are not the vertices, therefore you cannot make a crossover here, right? So V1 to V2, you cannot find any path. Okay, it is something like this. It is something like this triangle and this triangle, right? So this is kept here. That's all, right? So if I take this as V1, and I think this I have taken it as V2, right? Between V1 and V2, you cannot find a path, right? Therefore, it is a disconnected graph. So G is a disconnected graph. G is a disconnected. You can, if you find at least one pair which is not connected by a path, then you can say that this graph is a disconnected graph, right? So that is what you mean by connected graph is. Now, then I have to define what is a subgraph is. Subgraph. So let G be any graph that is VE with vertex set V, edge set E, be any graph, right? Then H is another graph. Let us say that it has V1, E1 as edge set. Then H V1 E1 is said to be a subgraph of G. Is said to be a subgraph of G if V1 is a subset of V and E1 is a subset of E, then only it is called a subgraph, right? So that is what we mean by a subgraph definition. Now, a simple definition, if it is not a subset, then you cannot say that it is a subgraph of that graph, right? So let me draw one example. So I will take this graph. So I have taken this graph, right? Now let me name this V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, V6, V7, right? Now I will take this subgraph, and I name the vertices as V2, V3, V5, and V6. So which is the, whether this graph is here, you can see here V2, V3, V5, V6, V. So this graph is here, right? So and you can see that V2, V3, V5 is a subset of original graph V or vertex set V, and edge set is also a subset of the set E. Therefore, you can take H as a subgraph of G. Let me call this as G. Let me call this as H. Therefore, H is a subgraph of graph of G. H is a subgraph of G. That is one example, right? Now let me take one more example. That is, suppose I have taken this. I have taken one triangle like this, but I will name the vertices like this. That is V1, V2, and V7. Of course, there is a triangle in the original graph. That triangle is V3, V4, V5. So, but here what I have named is V1, V2, V7. Is it a subgraph? Now, I call this as H1, right? So, this is an H1 is not a subgraph. Is not a subgraph. Why? Because the edge set is not a subset of vertex set is a subset of V, but the edge set is not a subset of V, because V2, V7 edge is not in G. Not in G. Therefore, this V1, V2, V7 triangle is not there. So you should be able to find the subgraph that you have taken in the original graph with the same vertex set, right? So that is the subgraph of definition. I think I have given one example which is a subgraph and one example which is not a subgraph. That will clear the definition. Now I have one more, two types of subgraphs are there. So there are two types of subgraphs First one is called as I think this is a second type. Okay, the first subgraph I already defined. So this is called as induced subgraph, right? The second type is called as induced subgraph. Induced subgraph. Induced subgraph, right? Now let GVE be any graph, right? Yes, let S be a subset of V. Subset of V, right? The graph induced by the set S, the graph induced by the set S is denoted as there is a notation. So this is S with this bracket. Okay, with this bracket is, so if I write S with this bracket, this means that it is the induced subgraph of S. It is the induced subgraph induced by the set S, and it is a graph of G, of course, right? Induced by the set S. So now we say that it is an induced subgraph. The condition for induced subgraph is all the edges formed from the vertices of S. Vertices of S must be in S. That is in the induced subgraph of S. So the induced subgraph of S is a subgraph such that it should contain all the edges formed from the set S, right? So I have given one example above, right? Now, if I take S as V2, V3, V5, V6, whether H is an induced subgraph, that is a question. V2, V3, V5, V6. I have taken my S as V2, V5, V3, V6. Then this edge is H is missing. That is V6, V3. Edge is missing in this. Therefore, this is not an induced subgraph. It is just a subgraph. It is just a subgraph, but not an induced subgraph. So I consider example as example is, I consider S as it is set V2 yeah, V2, V3, V5, V6. V2, V3, V5, V6. V2, V3, V5, V6. I have taken S as this set. Then if I take the graph, then all the edges formed from V2, V3, V5, V6 must be there. So this must be the graph. So this is V2, this is V3, V5, V6. So this is the induced subgraph of S, right? And this we have already taken as H there, right? So V2, V3, V5, V6, that I call it as H. H is not an induced subgraph. I think answer is there because one edge is missing in that, which is formed from the set V2, V3, V5, V6. The edge missing is V3, V6. So that is the induced subgraph. That is what you mean by induced subgraph, right? I can take one more example from the same graph, right? So let me take V6, V3, V4, V5. V6, V3, V4, V5. So let me consider S1 as V6, V3, V4, V5. These were the set, right? Okay. Okay. What is the graph that was formed? I think this was the graph. This was V3, This was V4. This was V5. This is V6, right? And what are the edges found from this? I think this edge is there. This edge is there. This this edge is there. V6, V5 edge is there, and this edge is there. So this is another induced subgraph S1, right? So you can have any induced subgraphs, right? So I call this as the graph induced by the set S1, right? So if I miss any edge out of this, right, it is not an inducible, it is just a subgraph, right? So I take from the same set, of course, this one, this one, this one, this one. If I take it like that, is V5, V4 edge I have not drawn, okay? So V3, V4, this is V5, V6. I call this as H1. H1 is not an induced subgraph. Induced subgraph, right? That is, I hope you understood what is an induced subgraph and what is not a. But it is a simple subgraph. It is a subgraph, but not an induced subgraph. But it is a subgraph. H1 is a subgraph, right? But H1 is a subgraph, but not a induced subgraph. Answer, you know, because V5, V4 edge is missing. Therefore, it is induced subgraph. You should know what is an induced subgraph and what is a which is not an induced subgraph. You should be able to say, right? Now there are some operations on graphs. Operations on graph. Operations on graphs, right? I think on numbers you have some operation. That is, addition is an operation, subtraction is an operation, and etc. Right? Now here, what are the operation? That is vertex or edge deletion, we call it. First operation is called as edge deletion. Edge deletion. What do you mean by edge deletion? Right? So let GVE be any graph, right? Now vertex set will remain same, but edge set will be, so H is V1, comma E1 is an edge deleted graph. Edge deleted graph. If V1 equal to V, that is vertex set is same, and edge set is a proper subset of sorry, E1. E1 is a proper subset of E. That is, some edges are missing, right? Then it is then it is called an edge deleted graph. Edge deleted graph, right? So, or how to delete the edge. So let me take some example. So let me name this V1, V2, V3, V4, V5. Of course, I joined this one also. Yeah. Now, I will draw this graph. That is, I just draw this graph. Together with the this one vertex, right? So then it is V1, V3, sorry, V2, V3 is here, V4, V5. So this is the edge deleted graph obtained from this, right? Two edges are deleted in this case. I call this as x1 and x2, right? So this is g minus x1 minus x2. So this graph is g minus x1 minus x2. And this vertex is there. So when x2 is deleted, that vertex will not be removed. That vertex will not be removed, but only edge is rubbed off, something like that. So this V1, V4 edge has been removed. That means that is rubbed off, right? So that is edge deletion graph, right? And you can see that when V1 is equal to V, it is called as a spanning subgraph, right? Because it contains all the vertices of G. So when V1 equal to V, it is called spanning subgraph. I think these are second type of subgraph. So spanning subgraph, right? And edge deleted graph is always a spanning subgraph, right? Edge deleted graph is always a spanning subgraph. Spanning subgraph. Now, when I say about edge deletion, you can also think about vertex deletion, right? So, because edge deletion is easy, it is simply rubbing off. So, I have written edge deletion first. Now, let me write vertex deleted graph. Vertex deleted DELETED graph. Vertex deleted graph. And I denote this as G minus V. V is a vertex. So in the same graph, I can take vertex deleted. So so G minus V is a graph with the V1 as a proper subset of V, right? And E1 can be equal to ES, right? I think when you remove some edges, of course, this is also proper subset. Okay, E1 is a proper subset of E, and V1 is a proper subset of V. That is, and in the above example, I can give one example. It's a vertex deleted graph, right? So I can take this graph and this edge together with this edge, right? That is V1, V2, V4, V5. And V1 is removed from, V3 is removed. So this graph is G minus V3. So when, when V3 is removed, the edge X2 is also get removed. That is the condition for vertex deletion. That's why it's E1 is a proper subset of E becomes, right? So when a vertex is deleted, edges are, all the edges incident on the vertex also get deleted, right? When a vertex is deleted, deleted all the edges incident on when a vertex V is deleted, okay, on V are get removed automatically. That is the definition of vertex deletion, right? So what is G minus if I remove V4? How it look like? So it will be V1, then V2, then V3, then V5, and I remove V4. V5, okay, V5. So this edge is there, this edge is there, and this edge is there. Okay, V2, V3 edge is there. But when V4 is removed, all the three edges get removed. All these three edges get removed. Okay, I am removing it from original graph. My original graph is G, that is here, that is this one. From this, I have removed V4. This is V4. This V4 is removed. When this is removed, all this edge is removed, this edge is removed, this edge is removed. So when you remove the vertex, those edges are get removed automatically. That is what you mean by vertex deletion, edge deletion, etc. And you can see that when when it is edge deletion, what is that graph you are getting? So when it is vertex, when it is edge deletion, what you are getting is spanning subgraph, right? When it is vertex deletion, what you are getting is I think this is the graph formed by V1, V2, V3, V5. You can see that. Yeah. What is the graph formed by V1, V1, V2, V3, V5? I think what we have drawn here is that is induced subgraph, right? So G minus V is always any vertex is always an induced subgraph. An induced subgraph. G minus X is always G minus X if X is an edge. Then it is always a spanning subgraph, and G minus V is always an induced subgraph. Okay. So that is regarding the subgraphs and and vertex deletion, edge deletion, etc. Right now, I think I was talking about cut vertex, right? Because it cut vertex and cut edge, right? So a vertex V is said to be a cut vertex if G minus V is disconnected. G minus V is disconnected. That is the definition of cut vertex. That means when you remove the vertex V, it should be a disconnected graph, right? And if a vertex V is said to be a cut edge, same definition. An edge, okay, an edge X is said to be a cut vertex. A cut edge. A cut edge is also cut edge if G minus X is disconnected. G minus X is disconnected, right? And a cut edge is also called a bridge. BRIDGE, a bridge. So bridge is the name for cut edge, right? And you can see that when I remove the edge x2, right, in the g minus x1 minus x2, right? So that graph becomes disconnected graph, right? So x2 is a bridge for the graph, right, or it is a cut edge of the graph, right? So you can see that g minus x2 is disconnected, therefore x2 is a bridge. Okay, for example, g minus x2 is disconnected, therefore x2 is a bridge or cut edge, right? And by removing v3, g minus v3, by removing v3, that is, if I remove the vertex v3 from this, what I graph obtained is here. It is a connected graph, right? So v3 is not a cut vertex, but if I remove v2, what is the graph obtained? So let me draw g minus v2. G minus v2 in the same graph, right? I think it looked like this. This one is there, this one is there, and this one is there, and one vertex is here. So this is v1. I have removed v2 from this, and this is v3, and this is v4, this is v5. So v2 has been removed. So what is this graph is g minus v2. And you can see that this is a disconnected graph because v3 and v4 cannot be connected by a path, right? Therefore, g minus v2 is a disconnected graph, right? And therefore, v2 is a cut vertex. That is a cut vertex. That is a cut vertex, right? And if you look at any path, you take any path, right? In any path Pn, right? Path P with n vertices, P and V, right? Right? So how it look like? Say P4, right? This is P4, right? Right? V1, V1, V2, V3, V4, right? V2 and V3 are cut vertices because if you remove V2, what you're getting is this this vertex and this edge is removed. So P4 minus V2 is, this is V1 and V3 V4. This graph is V3 V4 disconnected. Similarly, P4 minus V3, if you look at, that will be this one, V1, V2, V4. This is also disconnected. Therefore, V2 is a cut vertex, V3 is a cut vertex. So V2, V3 are cut vertices. But if I remove V1, V1 is not a cut vertex because if I remove V1, what you are getting? P4 minus V1. What you are getting? V2 V3, V4. This graph is, which is V2, V3, V4. And this graph is a connected graph. Okay. So it is not a disconnected graph. Therefore, V1 is not a cut vertex. So in any path Pn, the first and last vertices are not cut vertices. All other vertices are cut vertices, right? So let me complete that line. So in any path Pn, first and last vertices, first and last vertices are not cut vertices. The first and last vertices are called as pendant vertices, are not cut vertices, but all other vertices are cut vertices. All other vertices are cut vertices. And if you look at the edge, what you can see, if you remove first V1, V2 edge, it is disconnected. V2, V3 edge, it is disconnected. V3, V4 edge, remove that, it is disconnected. So every edge is a bridge in this case. Every edge is a bridge. Okay, every edge is a bridge in this case, right? So that is about cut vertices. Now, if a graph has a cut vertex, then it is called a separable graph, right? Separable graph. If a graph has a cut vertex, has at least one, right? Has a cut vertex, then if a graph has a cut vertex, then G is called separable graph. Separable graph. Otherwise means if it has no cut vertex, it is called non-separable. It is called non-separable. Non-separable graph. Non-separable graph, right? So that is what you mean by a separable graph and non-separable graph. You should not find any cut vertex in the graph. Then it is so if you take any cycle, right? I take C5, right? Which is the cut vertex in this? There exists no cut vertex in this graph. Therefore, it is a non-separable graph. Non-separable graph. Non-separable graph. Right? Now, if I take something like this, so this vertex is a cut vertex. So V is a cut vertex, and because if you remove this graph is disconnected, therefore it is a separable graph. Separable graph. The example for separable graph and non-separable graph. Right? Now, coming to this. One more definition I need. So it is a component of the graph. Component. So a component is a maximal connected subgraph or maximal connected graph is called a component. A maximal connected subgraph, of course. A connected subgraph is called a component. Component. Maximal connected subgraph is called a component of the graph. Right? Now, a maximum means biggest possible connected subgraph is called a component of the graph. Now, a maximal connected subgraph without cut vertex. Without cut vertex is called a block of the graph, right? A maximal non-separable. I can say that non-separable, right? Maximal non-separable subgraph. Non-separable subgraph is called a block of G. Block of G, right? And a maximal complete subgraph is called a clique of G, right? Of course, I'll come to that later. Now, let me take one example in this. So, I take this graph. Of course, I take this together with this triangle. Right? So this is a graph G with how many vertices? 4 plus 2, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it is a with the 13 vertices. How many edges? 4 plus 1, 5, 6, 6 plus 3, 9, 9 plus 3, 12 edges. So G3, 13, 12 graph, right? This is a 13, 12 graph, right? And I will add one more single vertex. Okay, so that becomes 14 vertices. 14 vertices. So there are 14 vertices, 12 edges, 14 vertices and 12 edges, right? And in this, how many components are there? What is the definition of component? Maximal connected subgraph. So you can see that this is a maximal connected subgraph. This one. And this is another maximal connected subgraph, right? This is another maximal connected subgraph. And this singleton is another maximal connected subgraph. So how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So I call this as this is a component. So let me call this as component 1, right? Component 1. Let me call this M1, right? This is M2. This is M3. This is M4. M4. So there are 4 components in this graph. There are 4 components in this graph. Right? And now second definition, maximal non-separable subgraph. Whether M1 is non-separable, whether M1 is non-separable, yes, because no vertex removal, no vertex is a cut vertex in this case. If it is cut vertex free, it is called non-separable. Cut vertex free, that means there should not exist any cut vertex. So M1 is a block. Whether M2 is a block, yes. Whether M4 is a block, yes. But M3 is a block, cut vertex, right? So how many blocks are there? Because M1 is I call this as block 1 because M1 equal to B1 I call, M2 equal to B2, but M3 contains how many blocks? 1 triangle, right? And second triangle. Now that is if I consider only the triangle, that becomes a maximal non-separable subgraph, right? Therefore M3 becomes a block, and In M3, I have B3 and B4. M3 contains B3 and B4 blocks. And M4 is B5 block. So it has 5 blocks. B1 to B5. B5, right? And 4 components. It has 4 components, 5 blocks, of course 12 edges, 14 vertices, etc. So earlier we had only vertices and edges. Now I have defined blocks and components, etc. So this definition should be clear in your mind. Otherwise we cannot proceed. So I think I have defined so many things today. Please go through the definitions, right? Perhaps I have not touched the second part of the title, that is eccentricity, distance, and diameter, radius of a graph. I think without this definition, I cannot go to those definitions. I think when I define and use some examples, my time is over. It takes a lot of my time in the beginning. So please go through the definition and be clear. If you have any doubts, you can ask now. Otherwise, we will stop the class. We started at 10, 11:30, up to 11:30 we have to take. Yes, any doubt you have? If you have any doubts, you can raise the doubts and you can ask questions. Anyone? Aditya Pratap Singh. Only 35 students are coming. In my name list, there are 65. I think some of them have changed the open elective subject. No worries. But if you're registered, is there any problem? Whether everybody name is included here? I think I have added 2 students, latecomers today. Please let me know. Any doubts? You can talk anything else also if you have. My dear students, please talk to me. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Yeah. No doubt, sir.
Nothing. So shall we stop the class then?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. If you have any problem, please convey it to me. Don't keep it yourself. If some name is missing, please inform me.
Yes,
You can
sir.
call me and tell me.
Yes, sir.
Because I am finding only 35 students in this. Why is it happening? So thank you.